it took me 3 days to say that prayer because I knew the moment that I spoke it out loud, it could be the end of our relationship.
Welcome to the Boost School podcast,
A place we come to meet the mystery.
an invitation into our deepest, most intimate moments.
Behind the scenes conversations that have never been shared before.
Buckle up.
Enjoy the ride.
Are you guys meant to actually break up, or are you giving up? Are you, did fear get the best of you?
Yeah.
Did the enemy, are you being attacked?
Yeah, yes.
That-
Or like, yeah, are you really being called to like open up your marriage, or are
Right.
you being attacked?
Right.
Or have you been hijacked? Like that's like a real question. And I think that, the question also evokes like, and at what point are we using relationships as battlegrounds and this place for like, I'm gonna like evolve and spiritually expand and grow and go to every dimension of chaos and darkness and shadow. Like that just doesn't feel true for me in relational dynamic anymore.
Yeah, I feel you. I understand and I feel you, and it is very nuanced because it's kind of like all hidden. It's all part of the same sauce.
Yeah.
So sometimes it can be hard to pinpoint the truth.
Yeah. Yeah, I really resonate with what you said of like, it's like when something just makes sense, then it does. It's like when someone ends their relationship and you know that was meant to happen, and it's like, that feels true. Someone opens up their marriage, they want to be poly. Like we have friends who do that, and it makes sense for them.
Right.
And it feels good, like it feels true for them. And so
Right.
nobody questions it.
Right.
And so it's like when these moments happen where it feels like a big opening of conversation and not just projection, but it's like what's at the heart of that, that like edgy, sticky, dense, what's happening here? Is this actually the truth?
Yeah, and if you want to go all the way down the rabbit hole, or
Always.
down, then I would take it to like what you said, right? Because the layers are this. It's like, wow, there's a lot of heartbreak and destruction, attack on union. That's heartbreaking. Okay. And then there's this big question of why, it's like, why is this happening, right? And then beneath that, you're like, oh, and it's bringing up my fear, right, of like impermanence, of, and I feel like deep in that fear and what it's bringing up in you is the same, it's part of this, whatever is the bigger thing that's happening. I feel like we can find it inside of the deepest fear. Because like, what's the reconciliation of the fear? What's the calling inside of that fear? Because whatever the answer is to that question, I feel like is part of the light and the expansion and the actual evolution happening on the most primal level. It's the answer to that question, right? That's where the liberation exists. It's where whatever the truth is exists, and I feel like that's a question that can be extremely difficult to answer or to even just be in the presence of, because we're so overwhelmed by all the other layers that are all meaningful to us that it's like we're not really asking that question.
Yeah.
Right? But that question's kind of the pink elephant in the room, because I feel like it also like is this resonating? I feel like one of the reasons I don't use the word spiritual warfare, but I relate to it in this way. It's like the thought forms of doubt that come from doubt, separation, fear, judgment, shame, these denser thought forms, right? I feel like they are picking up a velocity as spirit's picking up a velocity, right? And that's the way I would explain, like, the more you have a devotion and declaration, and you increase the velocity of, like, I'm all in on God, I'm all in on this union, I'm all in on this dream. Because of the speed up of things, the counterforce, the fear, the thought forms also get louder at the same time. They get craftier, they get more clever in trying to, like, assert themselves into your experience. And that's, I think, what people describe as spiritual warfare, whether you say thought form, the devil, a demon, an entity. That's the energetic realm of how I see that. And I do feel it is very much intensified.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My question that even evoked this whole thing was, is there a war on union? Is there spiritual warfare taking place on union?
I would say yes in this way, based on what I just said. If you imagine fear, it's a density, it's like an entity, right? It feeds off of light, tries to feed off of light, and it being a destructive energy. It's like, what is the most vulnerable place?
Oof.
The family. Family meaning the union here, and family meaning the family unit.
Yeah.
Family, which will say union, family, and money, because money connects to safety and survival. So the challenges with family and money, when there's an increased energy of evolution happening, or an attack, if you want to say it that way, it's like, well, those are the two best places to attack. And it's not even like attacking money, it's attacking our reliance on money, where we put our power, our safety, our security in money, which means we're now making that our God, our sustenance, then it's like, as soon as we do that, then that enemy, that thought form is like, oh, I can feed there.
And it's like
a doop-a-doop-a-doop.
and it becomes
Opening.
It becomes the distraction instead of living into your divinity.
Exactly.
It's like this thing that is and can be all consuming, for most people, relationship, love, whatever's happening in that dynamic can be distracting. And then it's the same thing, yeah, with I would say, like, money, safety, home, like core survival needs. When those feel like they're being shaken, uprooted, it's the same. It's like it evokes the illusion of distraction to distract you from what you're actually being called into.
And to look at the, I guess, the gift that's hidden inside of that. At the very same time, it's like the calling towards the thing that is stable, the calling for the restoration, the calling for the correction is existing at the same time that the threat of taking away the relationship or the money or your mind or whatever else that you might, in that same exact instant.
Right.
Present. And that's why I said, if we're so overwhelmed by the manifestations of the mental, emotional, energetic attacks, we're so overwhelmed by that, or so overwhelmed by trying to make sure we don't ever get to that point by not losing our money or by not losing the relationship, then again, it is a bit of a distraction from the actual calling. You see what I'm saying? And so when that's happening, because we're not on the offense, we're on defense. We might think we're on offense, but we're actually on defense, because we're not just trying to have sustenance and provision and wealth and all the things, where part of our consciousness is like trying not for that to go away. But see, and of course we don't want it to go away. We don't want to lose the, the relationship or the money or whatever. But what it's still hiding is the deeper calling, because the deeper calling is the invitation for the correction, the resurrection, the shift in perception, the calling to the most stable version of what we're seeking, which is the invitation is to find the safety, the security in the thing that's stable. That's the actual invitation. But the mind's like, yeah, but the money, but I do need the money, of course. But I do want the relationship, of course. But we're missing the point, the point.
And what's the most stable thing?
God.
Yeah.
Exactly. God, love, right?
Yeah.
But you see, that's not usually what we're aiming for, even if we're in the spiral of the chaos. We're aiming to build the thing, to rebuild the thing, to attain the thing, you see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Do you feel what I'm getting at here? So what it looks like, let's break it down. What it looks like with money is like, okay, we're seeking provision, but our soul is seeking provision on the deepest level. We're seeking safety, but our soul is seeking safety where it actually exists. Mm-hmm. Right? Where it's rooted, not instead of the safety that comes from having a home and having a great partner and, from having provision, but the roots of safety. That's what it means to me when it says don't make money your God. It didn't say don't have money. It said don't make it your God. To me, that means, it is the source of life now if it's your God. And so you take it away, oh my God, I can't live. But it's like, that's not the truth. Yes, it can make you feel safe, but if it's making you feel safe and your roots of safety are not in God, you take the money away, the safety instantly is gone.
Right. Or you take the partner away, or you take
the
the business away, you take wherever the identity is most anchored in, I need this thing to be who I am in the world.
Right. So let's break this down in a relationship, because I feel like at the core, even though we don't talk about it, the way that our union is set up, how we reside in our union, I feel like we are residing in the space that I'm speaking of, right? And so our roots of stability are deeper than the relationship.
Yep.
And that's a word. And so to me, what that points to, and this is what I would bring into the mix if somebody's amidst the chaos or crisis and they're still in the relationship and they're like, we can't find our way out of this dilemma, is what it points to is the deeper thing that's being sought after.
Yeah.
Not instead of the relationship or all the things that you want in a relationship, love, honor, respect, you know what I mean? But what's it calling you into?
Yeah.
That can be really hard to be aware of or to give any level of attention to while you're in a state of crisis.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm saying is in the same moment of the crisis of we've tried everything, we don't know what to do, is still the calling. Where is it taking you? And that's why I asked you if it's bringing up part of your fear of well, what if this ends one day? What if I wind up in that same thing where I think it's this and then it's that? There's a calling in that.
Yeah.
There's a desire in that of the soul. And knowing what that is would essentially kind of resolve the existential crisis. Mm-hmm. But the existential crisis is hidden beneath the crisis. Mm-hmm. And that's why if we get so captivated by things and that's why it can be a distraction.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like the invitation is always reorient yourself to God, you know? And I feel like, especially within relationship, it's that's our, not that it's a weapon, but it is. It's it is our secret weapon. Right. Why are we not influenced, shaken, like nothing moves us or like rocks us. There's like so many crazy things happening on the planet right now. There's so much going on. And it's like, even within that, there's such a strength and a knowing within our love. And it's not because we're just devoted to one another. It is the anchor, the root of God placed at the center of our love. And that means that we're devoted to God first and what God's calling us into within the love, which carries us through these deeper moments, or when there's like alchemy or whatever that might be.
Exactly. And that's why, like, for me, I wouldn't say I feel helpless, but the part of me that could feel sad that so-and-so broke up or got divorced and they've tried everything. The reason I feel like you haven't tried everything is because I can feel if someone's reached that depth to which they're truly relying on God. They're truly like, hey, we're both going to win here. What we want is the truth. What we want is God. What we want is the restoration of love more than anything. I can feel when people have not actually approached that depth.
Yeah,
See
like
what
when
I'm
they
saying?
haven't really gone all the way or given themselves all the way to union to God.
Right. They're
Right.
still low key, I say this with compassion, in self-preservation.
Yeah.
They're still in self-preservation, and deep down inside, they're overwhelmed. They're overwhelmed. They're overwhelmed not just by what's happening, but by the deeper fear beneath. That's what they're overwhelmed by, which when you're managing the deeper fear beneath, you're going to be more overwhelmed by all the problems, and you're going to feel helpless.
Yeah.
But one of the reasons you're feeling helpless is because you're not aiming for the gold. Right? So there's still a negotiation going on. There's still how much is this worth it?
Yeah.
Is this the alignment? Is this the relationship?
Yeah.
So and it feels weird to say this, but there's still a condition on love. There's still a condition on God. So the depth in which one is willing to feel uncomfortable or willing to go can be influenced by the relationship. Do you get what I'm saying? It's like, oh, is it worth it? But what's your criteria though? To me, and this is an attitude, I guess, that's rooted in God, rooted in love. To me, whether it's comfortable or uncomfortable, extremely difficult or easy, there's not a question of, is it worth it to dwell in the truth? Is it worth it to find my way to loving you and seeing you? Like, that has nothing to do with the relationship. It's not only rooted in the relationship. It's rooted in me. And like, it's worth it to me to see you in love. It's worth it to me to be in service to your soul. For me as a being, that's where my devotion is there. So that's the energy of going all the way, is what I'm saying. Whether they wind up staying in a relationship or not, I think that's what's missing sometimes, is people have not gone all the way, and you can't go all the way by yourself, from yourself.
Yeah.
You're going to run into your own roadblock.
Yeah, from yourself or for yourself.
For yourself, from yourself.
Yeah.
You're eventually going to hit some point of unknown, some point of feeling unsafe that is overwhelming for you, and you can't go any further unless you let go, which is the thing you're terrified of.
Yeah. Yeah. I also feel like there's like another side of this that I want to bring forward that's, such an interesting and unique part of the conversation, which is like, when I'm devoted to God first, I'm devoted to what God is calling me into. And so, it's like a month and a half ago, I shared the story with you about how I went to the beach, and I was like, okay, God, like, I have this knowing and this desire in my heart that I want to be a mother and a wife. And I feel you calling me into that, like the craving, the knowing, the part of me that just feels with every cell of my being that is part of my path. It was like, I was like, either soften this desire inside of me or make it very clear if this if Oren, this relationship that I love so much, is my partner, is my husband, is the father of my children, I said a very clarifying prayer that reoriented me back into God, not to you.
Right.
And I could feel in the ways that I was like, not because you asked me to, but I had shapeshifted a little bit to like what it, into you essentially. And you'd never asked me to do that, but I could feel that I needed to come back into reorienting myself to God first and then into our love. And by doing that and saying that prayer, which was either soften my desire around being a mother and a wife so that I can trust in the timing of this relationship and when that's coming, or cut it completely and make it clear so that I can give myself to the truth of that timeline, or show me something else that I can't even see, that I'm not even a witness to.
That last part is key. I want
Yep.
to unpack this because you're giving an example of what I said is hidden deep, deep, deep beneath the surface in these types of situations that they seem unsolvable, right? And this is the key. It's exactly what you're saying here, is that when you said that prayer, that is a moment of surrender. And whether you verbalize it this way, the energy of where you're coming from is, I trust God. I trust you, God. I trust the intelligence. I trust that you know what's on my heart and what is for my best interest. And I'm investing in that. That's a moment of surrender. Because if you don't go to that depth, then what happens is you're going to struggle or suffer more and be in the complexity 1,000% more within yourself, which then comes into the relationship. And this is what has the sensation, is like you won't solve it, because what you don't know that you're doing still, even though you're like trying to work out the relationship and move through all the processing and whatever is going on, and oh my God, this is a lot, this is a lot. The one thing that most people are not doing, which I'm saying is the main thing, is surrendering to, devoting to, being available for the last let go of free fall of like trusting, not understanding, but literally letting go into, God, I trust you. I know that what's mine is mine. I know that you know what's on my heart better than I do. And I trust that that is mine and you have that for me. So I don't have to work so fucking hard. You're an example of someone, because you're resting in a union that is so vibrant and full of life and love and safety. It might be harder to see that, like, you were still wrestling with that. So imagine somebody who's having challenge upon challenge upon challenge being able to get to that depth. You were still wrestling with that, with nothing on the surface, nothing in our relationship directly challenging you.
No, that was
Do you feel what I'm saying?
That was probably it took me 3 days to say that prayer. It took me 3 days because I knew the moment that I spoke it out loud, it could be the end of our relationship.
And you could argue that it took you 4 years.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
It wasn't obviously disrupting our relationship because it's like, but that thread of evolution, that calling.
I had to be willing to lose you.
Right.
Which was and is, and in that moment it was like, I'm willing to give up the greatest love of my life. Like, I would be willing to lose the most miraculous, beautiful, incredible love to give myself to whatever you want for me, God, because I trust you that much. And I can tell that my grasping of what I think this needs to be is in some way, even if it was 5% suffocating us, suffocating me, suffocating the truth, because I was so badly wanting you to propose and so badly wanting to become a wife and so badly wanting to become a mother, to the point of like, it was like choking me. It wasn't coming from the purest place of truth, and I needed to know that. And
But
when
you traded needing to know it in a way that you could control for the knowing.
And I mean, I was on my knees in the ocean, said the prayer. And once I said it, I felt this level of peace that was it lasted for days. I was in like such a peaceful state because I could feel like I've reoriented myself to God, and I am a mother. I am a wife. That is happening. And I didn't need anything from you I didn't need you to do anything. And it was like so wild, because then you were already planning to propose, but I felt the shift.
Oh, I felt it too.
I felt the shift.
Oh, I felt
the energetic shift from that moment on.
And that's what I'm saying, that like, and I say this again with all due compassion, I'm not saying that it's easy for people, but that's what I'm saying, is that many people, when they're in crisis or repair, or like, should we stay, should we go, how do we figure this out, they're in themselves not getting to that point. So there's still this, it just creates a lot of extra tension, a lot of extra complexity.
Yep.
There's no point of simplicity to anchor to.
Totally.
You see what I'm saying? They're
Totally.
not coming, imagine because if you start from there, and it doesn't have to be like hallelujah, feel good, or it's actually just an energy, it's an availability, it's a surrender. If you start from there and then you put that you inside of the challenge, the trigger, the crisis, or the repair, it's a completely different ballgame.
Yeah.
The lack of that's what I'm saying, is beneath the surface. One of the reasons it feels helpless to me is that even if we go deep, and you're like, I'm giving it everything, like that last thread of control, where ultimately I know, even if you say God, you're like, ultimately I know, that last thread of control, if that's not let go, then you haven't gone all the way. And you're going to feel helpless, not because you are helpless, but because you're still holding on. Mm-hmm. That's a recipe for helplessness. Mm-hmm. Because it's like, I have exhausted myself and the options. And so, hey, I'll bounce out. But have you exhausted yourself? Mm-hmm. Or are you exhausting yourself?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Have you exhausted yourself to the point of letting go?
Yeah.
Whether you call it God or you just let go.
And like let go of what you think it should look like or be. I think it's like there's just so many.
Well, there's layers of
ways
that holding on manifest as, but they're all the same thing. Yeah. And so I love that you bring that up, because that was even going on with you. So you could imagine how difficult it's interesting, because if you turn up the heat enough, one would think that it could force you into that. But the stubbornness that we have, the resiliency of the human ego to like endure pain is so extraordinary that we might think we hit rock bottom and like, oh, well, we need to end this. We've hit rock bottom. But we haven't hit rock bottom. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
If we're still in control. No, you feel like you have it. Like, you're still holding on.
Yeah.
There is, you're not hitting rock bottom, like the bottom of this thing, like, until you're not holding on, which is why Kabbalah says, like, the strongest prayer is the prayer of the person who's hit rock bottom, or the prayer of the poor.
Yeah.
Because there's no more resistance left.
Yeah, a lot of people really find that moment. And yeah, you're right. For me, it was like I wasn't in that moment. We were not in a rock bottom at all.
But you still you were still being confronted with that moment in your psyche.
Yep. Yeah.
And so it was your own calling and it was your own resolution,
Yeah.
you resolve there, or you try to resolve on the layer of like, you know what I mean? We didn't have a lot of conversations, but imagine if even the conversations we did have,
Yeah.
and the challenge is like we're trying to work through a challenge, but that's my point is it's not actually the challenge.
Yeah.
It's not the deeper challenge. It's manifestations of the deeper challenge.
Yeah.
We're a classic example of that because we did have some challenging conversations, and you're like, you know, oh, what if you don't want to get married, or here's how I feel like if you don't, and I'm waiting.
Or
And
what
I-
if
and
you
I'm,
don't
like,
want to be a
waiting.
father?
What if you don't want to be a father? It's like that essentially is its own kind of distraction, because what's not being talked about is where would that take you? What does that, and that's where the calling is. And to me, that's where the resolution is for us, not hypothetically, literally the actual resolution of the suffering of any level of challenge that you have did not come from us processing, working through things. It didn't come from that.
Yeah.
And that's the one thing that I think that, and again, I say with compassion, I think that's the one thing when somebody says, I've done everything, and I'm like, I can feel if somebody has touched that. I'm like, no, you've done the best that you can with what you know. And that's honorable. And like,
Yeah.
but don't convince yourself that you've done everything. You said every prayer, you're listening to God.
Yeah.
It takes a level of humility, innocence, or flat out desperation to actually purely listen to God and get outside of your ideas of how the thing's going to manifest or how the resolution is going to happen. To be actually like, I'm listening. As long as you got the fight and control left in you, like your listening is going to be oscillating. And sometimes you're purely listening, but if it's enough crisis, or if the dream's big enough and your doubt or fear is getting at you enough, you're not actually listening. You're listening through your own plan.
Yeah.
And that's the bigger point that I'm making here is like, it's the attachment to your plan is still another covert way to put your power in yourself and not in God.
Yeah.
And because your plan is a true, authentic dream, goal, and vision, that's why it can be so hard to see the layer of control that you have around your vision.
Yeah.
Because you're like, but no, this means this is real. I want this. This is the thing, though. It's like, but that's not the point. You're clinching on it.
Yeah. I really got to experience that with the house, you know, where for so long I was like, I need to have the house, but you don't understand. Like, I need to have a home for safety. I need this. I need this. I need this. I have to have this. Like, it must be this way. And then having the house burned down and being like, whoa, I've never been more liberated and free. And I didn't need that. And that was
Right.
a sense of control. And I think that I really appreciate this conversation because I can sense and feel and see that, yeah, a lot of people are like holding on for dear life right now.
Right.
And the deeper invitation is the surrender into God and into the mystery and into the not knowing. And especially when it comes to these very, 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 very real, like, I really want this thing. I really want to have a family. I really want to be married. I really want to, you know, successful business, or like whatever, like the biggest dream is. That's like the real point of surrender.
Totally. And I feel like whether it's a huge challenge or a huge dream, anyone who has this element present as a priority, connecting with God and truly surrender to like what is in the highest. And if it's in a relationship, if that's present, even amidst crisis, of just like, hey, I want the best for you. And you want the best for me. It's so much easier and faster to get to the truth. The truth with a capital T, what God's plan actually is. And I feel like that's the thing that's lacking. And that's why sometimes I'm like, that's why I could feel helpless sometimes, or be like, oh man, did you guys really give it your all? Like, did you really go there? Were you really standing with each other and standing for love and standing for the highest with God, with the other person amidst the crisis? Because if so, and then, by God's direction, it's like the highest order is for you to split up, then that's glorious. It's grief, but it's glorious. But when you don't know, and it's, as long as you're attached, you don't know.
Yeah.
The same thing with money. It's like you can't fake the system. You cannot fake letting go. You just can't. And so the catalyst will present itself, and we can try to avoid it, manipulate it, control it, do whatever, and be like, we're doing our best. But it's like, yeah, maybe not.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a deep one. It's an edgy one.
Yeah. And I would say collectively, which is probably one of the edgiest pictures of this conversation, it's like collectively you could say God's trying to take over, nature's trying to take over, or the next iteration of taking over, whatever. Right. And it's inviting us to shift our entire operating system and our allegiance and take intellect and technology and knowledge and put it in its proper place.
Yeah.
We're using it. It's not God.
Yeah.
But right now, collectively, the known is God. The intellect is God. Technology is God.
Wherever you've
Control
placed,
is God. Right.
yeah, wherever you've basically said, this is God. We were talking about this in the kingdom yesterday, where it's like, we've placed mentors as God. We've placed money as God. We've placed
so many
politicians as God. It's like, absolutely not. You think that that politician's going to save your life and change the world and everything's going to be different. And that's why every single time, no matter who is in office, there is absolute chaos and uproar.
Exactly. And that's why there's so many unsolvable problems. And even when we think we solve a problem, we create 10 more problems. And it's like this endless thing of like questing for the answer. It's the same thing I'm talking about in relationship. We're trying everything. And it's like, well, no, you're not trying everything.
But did you try God?
Right. So imagine that at scale.
Yeah, on a collective level.
It's like, trying to find the best system, trying to find the resolution, between two ideas, trying to find the pink elephant in the room is that the actual system, the actual operating system that you're operating in to try to find it, the ego, mind, knowledge is already the director. So we're already starting from an unstable system, which is why it gets so complex. And then we get into the complexities and we alter this. And it's like, oh, now, in favor of the blacks. Okay, now in favor of, and this like, there's got to be a resolution, a point of harmony within the tension. But it's not to be found by the mind.
Yeah.
But
and another solution.
Another thing. It's
like
right, and that you imagine how, or not imagine, like know how vulnerable that could be just within yourself, in relation to one of your dreams, to just be like in that vulnerable moment like you were with God. That's what I'm saying. That's trying to happen collectively. That is trying to infiltrate into every single system.
Yeah.
Operating system, decision-making system. That is what's trying to, is trying to penetrate and infiltrate. And that's why like we have so many like things that even if they seem to work on, they're a band-aid in relation to what's possible.
Right.
It's like, oh, well, it's like the prison system, for example. It's like the prison system is more about this half of the equation, which is you're punished for something you did that was wrong or out of integrity. Boom. The other half of the equation, which is the most important half, it's healing, it's transformation, it's actually empowerment. So where the being is restored to his natural state of integrity, and then he doesn't do the thing.
Right.
Or we could just control what he's doing and then encourage him to just control, which can be temporarily useful, but from an evolutionary perspective, that's a slow-moving, non-evolving society.
Yeah.
Because if so, it's like, to me, the devotion is not towards restoration, because that would be vulnerable. That would involve letting go of control. That would involve some level of humility, and humility equals vulnerability, especially if the problem's big enough. So we don't have that. We have a system of control, and we encourage a system of control. So I'm not opposed to prisons and consequences, but I am opposed to stopping there and not having a system of restoration to restore a being to be the being who doesn't commit the crime.
Yeah.
That's how we evolve. That's how we actually transform.
Yeah.
And our whole entire political system, operating system, in all of these dimensions is based, it's rooted in the control as the means, as the primary means. And maybe in some sectors and some subsectors and small niches, maybe they're like, hey, we really need to transform this.
Yeah.
But that's not what we're doing. So it's literally, if you imagine it from an evolutionary perspective, and I'm just painting a grim picture, it's like the extinction. We didn't do it in extinction. Do you know what I mean? It's like, that's what I mean. Like, it's like slow.
Oh my gosh. It feels like watching, it feels like every year just watching like a repeat. It's like you're watching the same show
Yeah.
in a different frame with some maybe different faces and people having the same conversation, fighting about the same thing. It's like there is no evolution happening here.
No.
I mean, like you said, of course it has to happen on some level, but it's like when you look at it and you span out, it's like, no, this is like, I'm seeing the same thing dressed up in different clothes in a different space, and then everybody's fighting about that.
Right.
And you're like,
the same way that happens in a relationship. It's a microcosm, and that's
Yeah.
why I love the sentiment, or the deeper truth of like the whole entire world could be healed in one relationship. Just like if you think of the energetics of
hold
that,
up, I need you to say that one more time.
the whole entire world could be healed in one relationship and one household. If you understand the supernatural plane, the energetics of that, it's like the macro is in the micro is in the macro, and so when you blow it out to the macro, it seems even more impossible or more complex or more crazy or more intense.
Yeah.
But I think that's human perception. It's an error of perception, because we're saying it's more as like, no, it's the same thing that's happening in the micro.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. It's like you're sitting in a moment, having some sort of trigger or disagreement or argument. You're both being called to love. You're both being called to truth. You're both being called to your soul. You're both being called to God. You both want to feel safe. And wherever that's actually able to happen is hopefully where you wind up. But that's the same thing that's happening between governments, between countries,
I
between
know.
this movement and that movement. So when we're like, no, it's this, no, it's that, it's like
It's like you're watching like your
We're not
mom
even
and dad
yeah, we're
literally
not-
have their like it's like you're watching your parents fight about
exactly.
stuff.
We're not even, and here's the thing, it's like if you don't even aim for the highest, you're not going to hit the highest. We're not aiming for the highest because consciously or subconsciously, it's like that's impossible. We can't even solve it on this level of the game. Like that harmony, like that's impossible.
Yeah.
But as soon as we say that's impossible, and Spirit's like calling us towards that harmony, calling us to aim for it and surrender to it, as soon as we say that's impossible, we go to plan B, control. What else do we have?
Yeah.
If it's impossible, then we're now in control.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like I've said this recently, and it's like, we wonder why there's so much war on the planet. Mm-hmm. We wonder why there's so much war on the planet because many of you are at war with the person you say you love the most. You are fighting with, you are constantly in battle with, you are constantly in some kind of crisis with.
Even in your own mind.
You're with yourself, yeah.
Right.
In your own mind, and then that's getting projected into your most intimate relationships, and then it's happening on a mass scale.
And I say this with compassion, but if you think, saying this to myself and anyone, if you think that's not impacting the world, you're wrong.
Yeah.
I think it's one of the reasons why, like, if we trend in the other direction, we can still feel hopeless, because it's like, well, how much is that going to impact? Mm-hmm. Okay, yeah, let's say we go all the way with God, and we, like, but what can that do? And it's like, I think that's so short-sighted, we can't even fathom.
Well, I think that's why the beginning of this conversation started with, it feels hopeless to see some of our friends go through divorce and breakup and separation in this way, because it's like, if you can't, some of the most loving, conscious, informed, doing the work,
yes,
showing up, going to therapy, like some of the most beautiful souls that I know, who
fully supported from every angle.
Yeah, like have, if they can't even do it, then who can?
Exactly.
Like that's where I start to feel this, like.
And that's a good fire, because I have that fire too. And that would be part of what I was saying to you earlier, is like inside of the heartache, inside of the grief, is the fires underneath there. And as you be with the heartache, as you be with the grief, it creates space to allow you to complete the equation, which is to be with the fire. Because as you be with the fire, that's God pouring through you. That's where then, the challenges or the thing that's happening becomes lighter, because you're fulfilling your calling within it.
And I think that, thank you. I feel like the way that you and I view relationship and marriage, and like what that actually means to us, and what that is when we're the way we're speaking with God, it's like, I truly believe that with God and through our love and through our union, there is nothing that could touch us. There is nothing that could break us. There is nothing that could penetrate us. And I think that because the way that relationships are these days, the world is influencing the relationship instead of the relationship influencing the world.
Right.
But
the impenetrableness is coming from our devotion being placed where the deepest roots are, where the most stable strength and power is, which is in God, which is in love, which is in our soul's evolution. That's what makes it impenetrable, is our devotion.
Yeah.
Otherwise, any challenge or trigger or thing or crisis could throw us off, not just because of the weight of that challenge or the weight of the crisis. It's because of the deeper instability.
Yeah.
But because we have that, that's why we don't get stuck in this.
And I also see it as like, when you say, okay, I'm here for union, I'm here to make a sacred covenant before God within marriage, I've said yes to this, I feel like you're saying yes to transforming and transmuting and alchemizing whatever shows up within that field. Not that you should condone things like abuse or like intense cheating or anything like that, but I feel like people have lost touch with what the invitation of relationship is, and what the invitation of sacred union calls for, and what the actual initiation is into that. And if you don't actually want to say yes to that, then stop using that language.
Yeah, that's fair.
Like, just
I feel you on that.
Don't say that that's what you're doing if that's not what you're doing.
Right.
That it's like,
because it is what it is. It's like, you could don't say you're devoted to love. Like, just my like how I use the word devotion. Don't say you're devoted to God or devoted to love if you're not. You could say you're committed to love. You could say that you're passionate about it, and those are valid as well.
And you could understand it as a concept.
But like, take a dose of humble pie. It's not even saying you should be devoted. It's just to say that if you trick yourself into thinking or saying or speaking that you're devoted, and then you find yourself in a crisis, and then you're like, I've tried everything, but you're not actually devoted. I'm like, well, you haven't tried anything, because there's something else that is being placed before the main thing. Because when you're devoted, you're willing to die for it. You're willing to die for it.
You're willing to die into
You're
it.
willing to die into it, right? Then, and the death would be any level of uncomfortability. It's like, no, there's just one. It's a single pointed aim. It's like the mother and her child. I always reference that. I'm keeping my children safe, and I'm taking care of my child. You see, so crisis happens, whatever happens, there's devotion. A mother's not like, oh my God, I've tried everything, so hey, sorry you guys, I haven't figured it out, or it's hard, or I'm terrified, so what else am I going to do? There's like, that's not even an option. That's the frequency of devotion.
Yeah.
And when your devotion in union is to God, is to love, then that's the force field. That's the support system. That's the roots.
No weapon shall be formed against you.
Right. Otherwise, if you have a butt, then that's how the weapons can get you, is because it's like, oh yeah, well what about if you lose your money, you know, or what about if you're whatever the thing could be, that is showing you where you've made something your God, where you've placed your safety, where you've placed the roots of your safety and your power and your security. And then that's where the enemy, the thought forms, the fear and all of its manifestations, that's where it feeds. That's where it...
I feel like the moment you let anything enter into your relationship that is not anchored through God, you have created space for the world, distraction, entity, illusion, contortion, confusion to enter.
I agree.
And that could come through a thought form. That could come through you talking negatively about your partner. That could come through consuming a substance. That could come through watching porn. That could come through inviting another person into your relationship. Like, there are so many different ways that could happen. But the moment that you allow anything inside of your relationship that is not anchored and rooted through God first, you are essentially saying, I'm open to anything.
I agree.
And I think a lot of people, again, it's like underestimating like a lot of substance, you know. I got to witness this when I was drinking a lot in the beginning of our relationship. It's like that was impacting our relational field. And we're responsible for what we bring into the field of our love. And I feel like that's the devotion to union. That's the devotion to relationship. And that's why I feel like when I say the words like there's a war on union, I don't think anybody is consciously choosing to be at war with union. I don't think anybody is, but I do think that by distraction, by distortion, people are being, weaponized and and brought into illusion and confusion. Like, if it's confusing, if it feels confusing, it's not. Like, love is simple.
Yeah.
God is simple.
Truth is simple.
Truth is so simple. It's not complex. And when it becomes this like,
and that's how you know that God's not in the room, or you're not present to God in the room. Rather, or one way that you know is complexity.
Yeah.
And that's the texture that I can feel sometimes when people are like going through it, or like even when I asked you about a couple of our friends, I was like, but have they talked about this? And it's just like confusion. It's like confusion. I'm like, but confusion cannot exist in intimacy.
Yeah.
Confusion, right? You may have unknowns, but what is it that takes an unknown and turns it into confusion? It's control.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're in the unknown. You don't know the answer yet, but you're resting in the presence of God. You're resting in the presence of love, of truth. and you're not destabilized when you don't know. So you're not actually confused. So I'm not saying all the time, but maybe oftentimes, especially amidst challenge or crisis, when we say we're confused, or when it gets so complex and like layer upon layer upon layer, it was like this, and then my trigger and this, and like, to me, it's like, stop the fucking press, pause. With all due compassion, you feel unsafe, you're in control. And all of your efforts, all of your personal spiritual development toolkit, no matter how savvy you are, once you're in control and you're trying to create safety unconsciously and you're not letting go, you're chasing your tail. You're predictably going to run yourself into a wall of complexity and confusion and illusion over and over until it cracks you, if it cracks you. And then you'll find yourself back in the simplicity. And we talked about this before, but I feel like our rootedness in love, our devotion to love, our devotion to God, our devotion to our union is why we don't spend hours processing things.
Yeah.
It's as simple as that, and maybe as challenging as that, but it is as simple as that. Like, that's the X factor.
One of the things also that's been a great, like, for me, is because I know that we're living in a field of transparency, I almost envision like our community, our clients, our family, our children, our spirit babies that are not yet here but like here with us, are always with us. I always think that. So I'm like, how I choose to, in moments of conflict, because I'm a crazy bitch. Like, I can get wild. I am a savage woman. It's not like I do not have that part of me. I do. I'm a very wild, like, I have the rage in me. Something about you and our love
Talk about it.
Commands respect.
Talk about it.
Commands that I do not project. Commands that I am choosing something different in a moment where every part of me wants to yell at you or, you know, be angry. It's like, I understand the assignment, which is, no, I will not continue that pattern of arguing. And I'm always thinking, and what if our children were here? What if our kids were in the room with us right now? What if our clients were here, the people that we serve? What if they were listening? Because they are. Because they are.
Yes.
Like,
let that simmer. They are. You are correct.
And that's the part of me that's like, no, there is no, for me, there is no other option. There's no other timeline. There's no other place that I want to dwell in where it's a but or a maybe I'm feeling this. No, it's, I'm devoted to this love that I say I'm devoted to. I'm devoted to union. I'm devoted to God, which means that I'm devoted to changing the pattern. I'm devoted to changing the story. I'm devoted to healing the wound. I am not devoted to the past of what happened, and I'm not going to continue being angry and just doing what I've done before in the past and just doing what I learned and what my mother did and whatever. It's not that. It's, I'm devoted to this right here, right now. What's the truth? What's being called for? And I think that so many relationships are being invited into that right now, and they are missing the invitation. They're just missing the mark. They're just barely missing the moment of, it's not just about you getting through your trauma and your healing. It's about understanding the assignment of your love.
So I really want to unpack a couple of things that you said there. One, you're talking about the wildness, the rage of your feminine essence, and how in our relationship, essentially you don't let it be destructive. And you said that's because of who I am. And I'm curious about that. And also then I have another question for you about how you not control it, but like move in a way that is life-giving.
Well, I think the more obvious piece is that I'm making a decision in real time, allowing myself to be present in all the sensation that's coming up in a moment where I might be feeling really angry or there's a lot happening in my body, and learning how to be with that sensation and actually hold it in my body and alchemize it in my body instead of project it onto you.
So that's an actual thing.
That's an actual
That's
thing.
a skill.
Learning
Okay.
how to expand the capacity to hold sensation of being in a moment of conflict instead of, what we as women have been taught to do is either to suppress it and act like nothing's happening
No bueno.
or project it. And that can be very destructive. It can be super it can be harmful. It's like throwing daggers at somebody. And I think that we often see in the feminine.
I've been victim to many of a dagger in my life. I'm kidding.
Well, in the feminine empowerment movement, it's like the dark feminine and the dark goddess, and let her
And I think
move
that-
and let her roll and let her express and let her be angry and let her be wild and
Like
let
it's
her,
happening right now.
let
Like
her
I think,
just like,
I think,
yeah.
I think that there's a subtlety here, because what I don't see you doing is suppressing yourself. What I don't see you doing is contradicting the value of liberation, liberated expression, and being able to be yourself fully in this relationship. And that's what intrigues me about what you're saying, because you're not making a choice at the expense of your liberation. You're not contracting yourself inside of yourself.
I know that it is my responsibility for how I carry the sensation that exists in my body. My nervous system is my responsibility. The way that I respond is my responsibility. And so, again, for me, it comes back to it's got to be greater than me. Because if it was just about me and how I felt, then I would probably just be yelling or throw daggers or, cause chaos. And I, on a deeper level, know that how I choose to love you and respond to you is repatterning the entire relational field, not just for us, but for our family, for the collective. And so it's like, I'm willing to hold that line.
And I feel like you're loving yourself in that. That's why it doesn't feel like suppression or negative. I feel like you're...
And I alchemize my emotions. You see me, I cry, I yell, but not at you.
Right.
I will, I know when the moment is to release rage, and it's like I don't want to direct it at you because I don't want to throw my
I get it. I'm just saying, like, how you do that is what a lot of women were like. That's what I was getting. Like, what's the secret recipe to executing what you're saying?
I genuinely receive everything that I'm feeling at most of the time. I'm not perfect with this, but most of the time I genuinely receive everything that I'm feeling. So I do cry, or I will, even earlier today, I found a pocket and just made a noise, and I was just like, "Wah!"
And what would you say it is about me?
That's the important piece, because there is something that you have cultivated within your system that I do not want to disrespect you. I do not it is more painful for me. It would be more painful for me to hurt you, to harm you, to disrespect you, to yell at you, to throw anything in your direction.
What do you think that is?
Because you love yourself and you respect yourself so much, and you're not available for it. In the very few instances that I have tried to fight with you or go into some dramatic experience, in those very few moments in our relationship, you walk out of the room. And so I know once or
I'm
twice
willing
you
to,
have.
yeah.
Yeah, and to me, it's like you're not available to engage in an energetic that's out of integrity.
Let's unpack this, because this is where now the men are listening as well, going, well, but what is that? How do you do that? I feel like because I have no fear, I'm not saying I never have resistance, I have no fear of the feminine because I've touched my own feminine, and I have no interest in controlling or judging myself. That has led me to a space of true compassion, one, because I get the challenge inside myself. That's why I can feel it when it's happening inside of you. So there's a compassion there, and then there is an unconditional acceptance of whatever. So I have no interest in changing you, because I feel like when we want to change someone, and it could just look like, hey, I'm constraining you, but when we want to change someone, it's because we're feeling unsafe. And so I found a place of safety amidst the chaos. I've found my true identity and the truth of who I am within chaos, within myself, and therefore within you. And so it's like I could be uncomfortable. I might even have resistance, but I'm not afraid of it. That's when we try to control things, is when we're afraid of it. You know, and that's when we judge. But judgment is a form of protection. And so I feel like the other thing that's at play there that also allows me to walk away, it's like I unconditionally love you, but I don't take any shit. But I'm fucking honest, though, with myself. I'm not trying to hide anything. I'm not trying to act like I'm strong. If I am feeling something, I presence that. So the end result of that, the secret sauce is compassion and truth. It's the fire side and the water side of love. The water side is unconditional compassion, understanding, acceptance. You don't have to change anything. The fire side is, and this is what's true.
Yeah.
Right? So the truth orchestrates on behalf of everyone. It's not like my truth versus your truth. It's just the truth. It's where the harmony exists. So when the truth, which is the fire, might come out and be like, hey, like, calm down. There's no closure happening.
Yeah.
There's no judgment.
Yeah.
There's no fear.
It's massive. I feel it.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think that's why you can receive my fire. Or like if I walk out of the room, or when I say I'm not available, you can't manufacture not being available if you're not honest, or if you're afraid. You can't manufacture. But if you're willing to be in any of the chaos,
y'all better listen up. This is mastery right here. What he's talking about, what you're talking about, is mastery. This is masculine mastery. Because I've been in many relationships that have, tried to, and it's like exactly what you're talking about. It becomes repellent. It becomes almost fuel for, like, if you're afraid of the feminine and you try to control her, it becomes fuel for her chaos and rage.
And it will eat you alive.
Yeah. And she's like...
It's just like, yeah. And that you can't... It's so simple what I'm saying.
You can't fake it.
But you cannot fake it. Even the smallest particle will be sniffed out and it will eat you alive. And that's why, like, if you perceive truth or try to, like, contain her, but you're in any judgment, you're in any fear, you're in any sense of control, you're in any resistance to her emotion, and you try to contain her, that energy is going to snap back at you. It's going to agitate. She's going to feel judged. It might, turn up the velocity. But because I'm not feeling that way, and I'm genuinely holding it all, and that's the other piece, I'm not closing. And so when we try to set boundaries or speak a truth or contain the feminine or any of that, but we're not in integrity or honesty with our own inner space, and if we're feeling unsafe or afraid, then anything I say or anything that I do when you're in that level of chaos is not going to go so well. Or if I walk out the room, but I'm low-key protecting my heart, which means I'm closing my heart, you're going to feel my closure, and your chaos is going to try to force me open. And it won't land well. And you'll feel judged. You'll feel, that's actually when people feel abandoned. And it's not that, that's actually what creates the feeling of, like, abandonment is the closure. It's the withdrawal of love, which happens when we're protecting ourselves, which happens when we're actually afraid and we're not being honest. And so that's why I can walk out the room and I'm still here. I'm still here. I'm right here whenever you're ready. Take your time. We're going to meet in truth. And the energy, the attitude is you take as long as you want. And I'm inviting. Not pushing, not resisting, not judging, while inviting at the same time.
Yeah,
And that's taken whatever it's taken.
Yeah.
So thanks for helping me unpack that, because I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't know, I'm just being myself, and I'm like,
it's so catalyzing and so hot though. It's like I really respect you so much. I respect you and love you so much that I would never want to disrespect you. And that's why I don't yell at you. That's why in our entire relationship, we have never once called each other names. I say that with honesty and integrity. We've never gotten into a screaming match. It's just like we have so much reverence and respect for the sanctity of our love that even in the highest sensation and emotion, we're willing to sit in the alchemy of that through our own bodies instead of projecting it at each other.
And the willingness to be with it all is part of the invisible part of the secret sauce.
Yeah.
So there's no resistance there. And that's the thing, like as a man, I've cultivated that. Like I said, I might find thresholds of uncomfortability. But I'm not going to use my energy to act or to defend against something like, so I'm not afraid. You could throw anything at me. You could become the devil incarnate, and I still would be like, because you can't take anything from me. You could kill me, you still cannot take anything from me. So I don't need to be afraid of you. This is the entire, that creates an infinite space for the feminine chaos.
Yeah, and comes back to the core of this entire conversation is let go of control, surrender to God.
Right, and within that, the reason I'm not a doormat, or like, because I'm also willing to be like, stop. That's me being the guardian of truth. It's also being the guardian of my heart, but it's not instead of your heart. It's the field. The field holds it all. That's how we become one with the field. So, awesome. The next thing you said, you also behave like your clients are in the room, your community's in the room, your children are in the room, your parents are in the room. And I just wanted to add to that, anytime we want to bring the heavens to the earth, we want to live in an integrated way, what we experience in plant medicine ceremonies, or you want to be in a flow state more often. You're like, you want all the glory, the heavenly glory of like being in a state of unity. One simple way to do that is to behave like things are, not in your perception, but in consciousness, in truth. We're all connected. Even if we're not consciously aware in a moment, we're all in a transparent field of consciousness. And if you are willing to act like that's the truth, you're willing to, be with that, then that's how you bring that dimension into this dimension.
Right, because you're essentially saying, yes, I'm existing in a field of union, I'm existing in a field of transparency. All that is and all that ever will be is existing inside of me, and I'm willing to be in relationship with all of it. I'm willing to be seen by all of it. I'm willing to be witness to all of it. I'm willing for life to see me. I'm willing to really choose to exist inside of the truth that my partner can always feel me. My children who have not yet been born yet are always with me and watching me. Our clients and community are attuned to everything that we're doing and saying yes to at all times, and our family is impacted by the decisions that we make and actually transform through the way that we choose to love each other.
Amen. And last thing I'll say on that is, it's not perfection, it's devotion. It's devotion to God, devotion to union, devotion to restoration, devotion to life. It's not about perfection. It's just giving our free will and devoting, putting all our chips and like, this is what I want. I might slip, I might falter, but I'm aiming in one direction. To me, that's where the power is. It's
being willing to be messy in it. I think that a lot of people are afraid to even get messy in their love.
Right.
It's like, it's being willing to really lay it all out and to let it get a little bit messy sometimes and
when you have the devotion and your intentions are pure, which means they're for the greatest good of all, then you can just really let yourself be messy and be an experiment because you're still following the guiding light. But if
Yeah.
you don't have a devotion to something bigger than yourself and you're messy, then it's like kind of
just
like
messy.
it's just messy.
It's just messy.
It's just like I said it before. I was joking. I was like, we don't really fight, and we definitely don't fight unless it's productive. To me,
Yeah.
it's like productive means like, okay, if we're if we're in a field of tension, but we're saying yes to the calling in it, then whatever. Like if it's bumpy, messy, gets a little, we're sparring a little bit because it's productive. It's very much like going to the gym and getting your ass kicked, but you have a bigger vision.
Yep.
So you're like, oh yeah, some days are going to feel like I'm getting my ass kicked, but I know I'm getting something out of it. To me, that's the only type of fighting or whatever battling that's worth doing. Because otherwise, what's the point? You're
Yeah.
gonna fight for an illusion.
Yeah, yeah.
Fight for an illusion
Which
of
a
safety.
lot of people are.
Fight for an illusion of power, an illusion of safety.
Yeah.
It's like, no, it's like, okay.
Fight just to fight for evolution's sake. I mean,
Right.
but like saying that it's for evolution, but it's actually reiterating the pattern.
Yeah, or reiterating self-preservation or separation. It's just like,
No.
yeah, no judgment on it, but it's like why?
I'm definitely judging it.
It's not worth. Yeah, it's just not worth it.
I think it's, coming back to this piece of we have to stop glorifying relationships as battlegrounds. It's like going all the way back into it's like we have to stop glorifying being at war with one another if we really want to see war end on the planet. And that requires such a massive responsibility and discernment and truth and willingness to really be in that moment of, am I repeating a pattern of the past, or am I living into a prophecy of love, a prophecy of union?
Yeah, and I think with us too, it's not that repeating patterns don't come up. It's just that there's no commitment to them repeating.
Yeah.
So there's no fight on like trying to preserve the pattern. Once we are aware, oh, that's a repeating pattern coming up. The allegiance is still to the calling. There's no fighting for, I want to keep this pattern right now. It's just like,
Yeah.
oh, there you are. Cool. We're going in this direction.
Yeah.
So, the assignment.
Yeah.
You know the assignment. We know the assignment. How does that occur for you? You said it in the context of, being in tension and expansion in relationship. But what did you mean by that when you said, I understand the assignment?
I feel like each relationship, when we're brought together in relationship, when we're brought together in union, it's not just to get our needs met or to, be in a self-serving relationship, which is why a lot of relationships self-destruct. Relationships that are self-serving will eventually self-destruct. What's being called for in the evolution of relationship, the true evolution of relationship, is actually being in a relationship that is in sacred reciprocity to one another, and it's life-giving. It's actually of service to the other's soul evolution,
yeah.
and the planet's evolution. And I'm not talking about polyamory, y'all. I am talking about true soul evolution and restoration of union on the planet. Like the truth, like being willing to listen to, is this life-giving? The assignment is not just about, I want to come in and get what I need. I want to come in and heal. I'm here, we're here, this love is here. God has brought us together to be in devotion to something on the planet, something greater. It serves the collective, it serves the community. It is of service to everything that it touches.
Yeah, and I feel like when you're in service to life, life is in service to you. When you're in service to love, love is in service to you. And for that reason, we don't need to hyper focus on our own needs. If we're really in service to life or in service to love, or like in relationship, if the primary focus is being in service to our love and in service to you, built into that is, I will be served.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's another picture of unity. like being in the flow of reciprocity and just seeing like that's how life works when we're not fucking with it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We're not obstructing it or trying to control it. It actually naturally works in that manner.
Yeah. One of the things that came to me recently, probably like a year ago, was you can't simultaneously be in service and suffering at the same time. And that's why whenever I'm in a state of suffering,
You're like, maybe I could serve.
I always think I should be of service, because those two just can't. If you're truly being of service, truly from an unconditional space in your heart,
You have to.
you can't be in
serve it.
suffering.
Right.
And a lot of times suffering within relationship is because you're not actually being in the highest service to the field of your love.
Right.
You haven't gone all the way. That's all. And I know that. I it's like there's not an end goal to this. It's a continuous invitation. The assignment is not complete. It doesn't ever just get done. The assignment is not something that you finally get to come into and say, okay, we did it. It is a continual devotion. It is a continual invitation. It is a daily devotion. And yeah, sometimes it's messy, sometimes it's wild, and sometimes it's like really, really, really easy. But no matter what it is, it's always the same. The invitation remains the same. The invitation will remain the same.
And let's recap that and land the ship here. The invitation to God, the invitation to surrender, the invitation to love, the invitation to truth, the invitation back into our heart, the invitation back into our body. Any of these one points are the invitation. And it's what takes us from fear to love, from complexity back to simplicity again. It's where we're receiving the actual medicine. And part of the challenge, the suffering, the difficulty in anything in life, in relationship, is not just what's happening, it's our proximity to answering that simple call. We think that the solution is here, we want this, this, and this, but it's like as soon as we answer the call, we return to the kingdom and that simplicity, and then we're like, oh, that's, the resolution is already there. It's in the restoration.
Yeah.
It's in the coming back into union with love, with truth. And then it's like, then we evolve and the problem dissolves. But when we're trying to problem solve and we're not anchored, we're not available for God, for the truth, for love, it's like it just becomes endless. So I like ending on that simple point of the invitation that's always present.
Always.
Yes.
Amen.
Amen.
Love you.
Love you.
Thanks for watching, listening, being part of this incredible conversation and the Boost School, which is a continual devotion. And if any of these conversations, especially this one, has impacted you, please subscribe to our YouTube, subscribe to the podcast, leave a review.
Yes.
Let us know what you think. Let us know what you want us to dive deeper into. It's really, really supportive for us as we are growing this baby, this brand new project. It means the world to us to receive you and to receive your support. Thank you.
Thank you. We love you.
We love you.